All right, welcome to another new week of the CFO Swinger Watch. I hope you guys have had a great week last week. We've had some great trades so far. Um, let's just get right into the technical analysis of all the names on the CFO Swinger Watch. All right, so on the overall market, it seems like we are heading up higher and higher and higher. The market is really, really strong, and it surpassed my expectations of staying around 440. Now, currently so far, we are seeing some type of a ascending trend line of resistance. All right, if you guys look at the 2 hour time frame, okay, it seems like we are seeing some type of selling going on here. So that's why I've made this trend line just based off two anchor points here. Okay, now the market strength is continued because of the fact that we've had some amazing economic recovery numbers. It seems like the economy continues to recover, and the Federal Reserve is continuing to support that economic recovery. All right. Now, the only negative sentiment that we can have in the near-term future is when the Fed starts to taper, okay, and they start to slow down their quantitative easing. All right, and the quantitative easing has been uh, on since March 2020 lows. Okay, now this momentum upwards is really really strong. Like I said last week, we bounced off of that daily 50 SMA. Daily 50 SMA on my chart is this dark blue line here. Okay, now this SMA here, um, it's very much a momentum indicator here on the daily time frame. Now, with this bounce, okay, with this bounce, we are seeing some type of a flag as well. Okay, so if I were to draw a trend line from this point to this point, okay, we're making some type of a bull flag. Now, this type of flag has appeared, over a couple times, okay, and they tend to break to the upside. But if we get any type of negative economic news this week, we can see a decrease in price once again. Okay, now if we do fail to hold this support right here, okay, this ascending level of support and this 2 hour support around 436, okay, we can start heading lower again, okay? And if we head lower, we can most likely start to break this weekly trend line that I've been telling you guys for weeks, for months, okay? So, keep your eyes on that. But if we break above 443, we can see some nice movement outwards again, and potentially maybe even hitting 450. All right, let's look at our first name here, Tesla. So last week, Tesla was a great name to trade and swing. We broke above the 700 level that I've been looking at, and now we're right back at the 700 level once again. All right, we closed at 699.10. Okay, so we need to be able to hold this 700 level as a new area of support, which is previously an area of resistance. And if we don't, all right, judging based off the price action last week on Friday, we can potentially break below 700 and come back down to 600s again, maybe even going below all the way to 650 and maybe to 620, which is a major area of support. Now, with Tesla, okay, it's made a nice, relatively good with good strength, okay, move back above 700, but with this move to the downside on Friday and closing near the low of the days here, we can see another candlestick down, okay, as we are heading towards the 10 SMA and the 21 SMA, which are, as you guys know by now, my momentum indicators, okay, my momentum SMA indicators. Now, if we're able to bounce off of the 10 or the 21, we should see a continuous rise for Tesla. And also Tesla is also going to be a sympathy play for this week, as we have EV names like NIO, Workhorse, and Helion or Hylion, all right? And if they report some good numbers and they have a good positive earnings reaction, we can see Tesla going up as well in sympathy. Okay, now Tesla is a very volatile name, so you guys had to be careful with your entries and make sure you guys set up your stop losses. All right, let's look at Roblox. Okay, so a lot of my subscribers here have asked me what happened with Roblox on Friday. Okay, so I have given you guys a explanation on the newsletter, so make sure you guys read that. Um, but on Friday, we saw a lot of day trading volume come in. All right, as we start to break out above this falling wedge here, this falling wedge pattern. So if you guys look at the weekly time frame, all right, we can clearly see that $82 and around up to around $83 to $84 is going to be a pretty heavy area of resistance. Okay, just judging by this huge rejection off of $82 here. Okay, so we're going to need to see a lot more buying volume compared to last week in order to break out of this weekly falling wedge. Okay, and once we do, we can see an explosive movement back above, maybe even to the 90s. Okay, so Friday's close was pretty ugly. Not going to lie here, but we just need to hold above this range of 76 to 77.50ish. Okay, and if we're able to hold that, all right, we should see some nice bounces and eventually a nice break to the upside once again. So last week was a first attempt, all right, and the more attempts we have at breaking levels of resistance, the better the breakout will be. Okay. All right. For our last official name, we're looking at Amat. Now, Applied Materials. Okay, so this is a semiconductor name. As you guys already know, all the names in the semiconductor industry has been very strong. They've been reporting some amazing earnings numbers, upbeat guidance. Their fiscal, year is doing really great so far, and they're expecting next year to be even greater. All right, as demand rises with the chip supply shortage still going on. Okay, so this name here is a leadership in that industry, in the semiconductor industry, and technically it's looking pretty strong. And so this name is at all-time highs. If we break above 145.75, we should see some new all-time high numbers, potentially up to 150. Now, on this weekly time frame, the reason why I'm showing you guys this time frame is that it seems like we're forming a nice weekly bull flag. Okay, so if I bring out my brush here, if we reject off of this 145.75 level-ish, okay, if we reject here and come back down again, okay, we're gonna have our fourth touch at this ascending support trend line here. And eventually, if we bounce, okay, we can see a nice break to the upside one more time, okay, and eventually up to all-time highs, and we can see a blue sky breakout on this name. Now, let me erase this. Okay, so if you go back to the daily time frame here, we can also see that the daily candlesticks are making a bull flag, a very, very small micro bull flag here. Now, if we're able to uphold and bounce, okay, if we go back down from this bull flag, so if we fail to break out to the upside for this bull flag and negate it by going downwards, if we're able to hold 140 again as we retest this area of previous resistance, we can bounce, turning into new support, and then potentially start heading back up towards 145 again. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm actually expecting to happen. This is a very small bull flag, and it's going to need a lot more momentum and a lot more volume than this compared to last week in order to continue up higher. So if we break down and negate this bull flag, I'm wanting to see the price bounce at 140 and then start heading back up again. Okay, but obviously, if you fail 140, you guys can assume what can happen. We can start going lower and lower and potentially hit this trend line that I showed you guys on the weekly time frame. Okay, so that is it for the three official names for this week. Let's look at our extra names. So Apple. Okay, so Apple is a name that I've posted for you guys on my Instagram page. Um, but Apple is something that I'm going to be watching because I'm already in from Friday. All right, so we've had some a little bit of a sell-off, but this was actually aligned with the day when they're paying out their dividends. And usually, when companies are paying out the dividends, the price will price that in by selling off a little bit. Okay, and so this was perfectly normal action here. You guys might have wondered why we didn't have a nice strong bounce at 146.50. Um, and this is a critical area of support, but now it's going to be a future level of resistance since we did close below that level. All right, but this was all caused by that payout of dividends, which is around 0.22 cents per share. Okay, so this is completely normal action. Now we need to see the price rise above 146.50 in order to start breaking out of this flag. Now, if you guys look at the 2-hour time frame, okay, we're making a nice bull flag here. Pretty good trend line here. Okay, so this is a nice flag that we're forming here. And if we're able to uphold 146.50, we will then need to go up to 147 and then hold that price level in order to see a breakout above 148, which is our main resistance. Okay, and if we're able to hold 148, then we should start heading up towards all-time high numbers and eventually break up to 150. Okay, now let's talk about SQ. Okay, so SQ, if I'm not mistaken, was also a extra name last week. And if you guys see on the daily time frame, we broke out tremendously here. Okay, um, if I go back to the weekly time frame, I've also mentioned this last week. We have another bull flag forming here, but except we're having a huge macro pattern here. This wedge symmetrical triangle that's within this bull flag pattern. Okay, and so we saw a huge amount of volume come in, which is always favorable for us if you're looking to play the long side. Okay, and for this long side here, we've had our entry above around 266 to 268 range. Okay, price range there. Um, but with an inside day here, okay, and then another tight range day here, we were able to retest the previous areas of resistance. So this descending trend line here, and then this horizontal level here around 260 to 261, we were able to break out once again. Now, in order to see some continuous momentum, we need the buying volume to continue and the price to continue up higher. All right. So SQ is now, following that buy now, pay later trend by buying out Afterpay. You guys can look that news up, but they bought that company for a couple billion, okay, billions of dollars. So this buy now pay later trend or and these companies that are involved with that is looking to be very promising, especially since a lot of those e-commerce companies are looking to use that model in order to increase their customer growth and retention. All right, so A firm. Okay, so A firm is one of those names that are also um, solely focused on buy now and pay later trends. So A firm had a huge influx of volume, I believe, on Monday. Okay, on Monday and Tuesday of last week. I believe Tuesday was a confirmation of the news when A firm and Apple were looking to coordinate their efforts to launch a new app, or I believe at least getting into the Canadian markets for this buy now pay later trend. And so Ephraim got a huge upbeat in price Okay, and it seems to be very promising here if we're able to break above 70 and 71 range. All right. Um, if we're able to break this area of resistance, we should see a nice short squeeze as evidenced by Thursday of last week of this huge rejection around 71.50. Okay. This is showing continuous strength as seen on the RSI. Um, and with the huge amount of volume that we saw last week, we should see continuous momentum as we're seeing the momentum 10 SMA curling upwards to support this movement up. Now, a firm, personally, I think Apple should buy out a firm with the tremendous amount of cash that they have, the free cash that they have. Apple's known for their free cash. So if they're able to buy out a firm in the next few coming months, they should be a main competitor to Square, who bought Afterpay. Okay, so if they want to continue to um, you know become a monopoly, as Apple is buying out a lot of companies and acquire a lot of companies. I truly believe that if they want to grab a market share of this buy now, pay later trend, I think they should buy out a firm just as Square has bought out Afterpay. Okay, that is it for the stock names. For the cryptocurrencies, please keep on looking at Bitcoin. We've been looking at Bitcoin for the past 2 weeks, and it's making tremendous strides to the upside and potentially back towards all-time highs to 60,000. Okay, so that is it for this week. I hope to make all my links to my website and to the subscription newsletter page available by tonight or tomorrow. I know there's some people here who are looking to recommend the CFO Swinger Watch to their friends and family. So I will make sure to get that link up ready for you guys so that you guys can start sharing that link once again. All right. Uh, Make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. And if you guys are looking at any other names, please go ahead and leave a comment below on this YouTube video. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your night or morning.